10 days of testimony so far and what's being described as the biggest attempt to defraud the city of Jacksonville. That's the proposed sale of JEA and the millions of dollars top executives could have pocketed through a controversial bonus plan. Former CEO Aaron Zahn and Chief Financial Officer Ryan Wanamaker are charged with conspiracy and fraud. Today, city attorneys who worked with JEA testified they were not aware of how much money executives could make, even though one of them in particular could have collected a fortune from the bonus plan. News 4 Jax reporter Jim Pickett has been following this story since a possible sale was first brought up 6 years ago and was at the courthouse today.
So I was inside here at federal court today. A lot of interesting things coming out with city attorneys. Jason Gabriel, the head attorney for the city at the time, he had a lot to say and was probably the prosecution's best witness. But I will tell you, another city attorney who actually worked alongside with JEA when all of this was evolving testified today that, well, she felt uncomfortable with this bonus plan, even though she could have made millions.
I think it's best in her interest.
This is Lynn Rohde as she left the courthouse today. I tried asking her about her involvement with the proposed bonus plan and how she could have made millions. She didn't want to talk. Her attorney said she might be called back to testify.
Still under subpoena, so thank you for what you're doing.
But I mean, Lynn, the one question that the public really has, I know, is that did you know that you could make $1 million out of this?
Hey, Lynn, did you know you can make
so much
millions
money.
of dollars?
But in court, Rohde testified about her involvement. She became involved with JEA as a city lawyer just before the plan was laid out about restructuring or a possible sale of JEA. She said she saw potential problems with the performance unit plan known as the PUP. She would have been allowed to benefit from it. Now, she testified when she first saw the plan presented, she didn't want to participate and thought it would be a waste of money. Prosecutors asked her if she knew if a $10 investment at the time could have netted her $11,500. Would that have changed her mind? She answered it would have been uncomfortable. But Rohde could have made much more. She testified she wasn't aware of that until it was reported in the media, and that's when that plan began to unravel. Her former boss, general counsel for Jacksonville, Jason Gabriel, testified in the afternoon. He said he wasn't aware at first that this plan could have paid out millions to executives and to that attorney in his office, Lynn Rohde, if it was approved. He wasn't happy about it. In conversations and emails with JEA executives and staffs, he learned that the plan was new to government. But Gabriel said he had a gut feeling there were problems. He felt that there were many issues. Gabriel said he'd never seen anything like this before. He did attend a meeting in November of 2019 where Zahn and other JEA outside lawyers were present. Gabriel said Zahn told him, "Jason, if you're going to kill it, kill it." But that didn't happen until days later when Zahn wrote a letter saying the plan was postponed indefinitely. Gabriel was concerned from that wording that it could be resurrected. So he responded with his own letter. He said, if it were to happen again, there needs to be steps to make sure the payments will not be so big. Jason Gabriel will be back on the stand tomorrow. He didn't really want to say much at all when he left the courtroom today. Now, one thing I think you should note is that Aaron Zahn and Ryan Wanamaker both could spend 25 years in jail if they're found guilty of these charges. From the federal courthouse, Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station.